Rev up your engines!
Well, GM is recalling Chevrolet Bolts again for the same problem. And the problem is, they might start on fire. Just what you want with an electric car. The new recall covers 2020 to 2022 Bolts that were previously repaired for a fire risk, and now they're like, I guess we didn't fix them right. Like I say, a lot of these software fixes, they don't fix anything. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says the installation of advanced diagnostic software may have failed. The high-voltage battery could catch fire when fully charged or nearly to full capacity. Until they're fixed, they say you can only charge it to 90%. You should charge the vehicle more frequently. Don't deplete the battery to 70 miles or less of range. Park outside after charging. And never charge the vehicle indoors overnight. Like you say, these electric vehicles, especially GM, they have not figured it out yet. Imagine buying a car and you got, well, I'll just park it outside. Don't go too low. Don't go under 70 and don't go over 90%. So your range that was small to begin with is shrinking even further. And then, well, it just might self-ignite. So park it outside your garage, too. What is the point of trying to sell these things to people? Hopefully the new administration that just got elected is going to say something about that, bankrolling the companies for these stupid electric cars that aren't made right, and the average American really does not want one. Well, if you wonder what the most popular car in the United States is, it's still the Toyota Camry because it's a car. The other stuff are SUVs, right? And here's the thing about it. They're not that expensive. Here's the prices of brand new ones. You can get a brand new one anywhere from $28,400 to a fully loaded $34,000 one. And I had a guy bring me an almost fully loaded one in Tennessee for $31 that he paid. And that's what he paid. He showed me the invoice. That's what he actually paid for the vehicle, right? $31 included the destination charges and everything. So they're not as expensive as you might think. The average car in the United States today, brand new, is $47,500. At least it is as of this moment. 31 grand, a loaded Camry that gets 51 miles a gallon. They're doing something right here, you know? They're not like some other companies. We'll promise you this. It's not here yet, but it'll be here soon. No. This is here. It works. Now you can only get a hybrid Camry. That's all they make. 51 miles a gallon. Not bad, right? For a car that rides good, has plenty of pickup. I gotta say, they did something right with that. Even though people all say they want SUVs, they are still selling more cars than anybody with the Camry. They sell more SUVs, Toyota, of course, you know, RAV4s and stuff. They sell more of those than they sell Camrys now because everybody wants an SUV. And everybody is nuts about those SUV bodies. When I was in Tennessee, if that guy, instead of spending $31 for a Camry, for an equivalent RAV4, he would have had to spend $45. So maybe think about getting a car next time instead of an SUV. Well, I love these ridiculous articles by journalists. This one is called VW's Most Impressive California Camper Van Launches at Tempting Price. And they have a picture of the new California van. It's the all-new multi-van. It is an e-hybrid plug-in system, so it's got a regular engine, and it's got an electric motor, and it's plug-in, so it can drive like up to 50 miles on just electricity. And the guy says, Mr. Weiss, who obviously doesn't live in the same world as most of us, Mr. Weiss says, it's launched at a tempting price, right? So I go to the end of the article, and I'm like, how much is this thing, right? This is a tempting price. Tempting for maybe millionaires. Check it out. The Beach Tour Light 4-sleeper camper, $88,875. That's insane. And the cheap one is $83,375. How can you call this a tempting price for a stupid Volkswagen van? Now, if you're going to buy a van, get a Toyota Sienna. They can go forever. Turn it into a camper van. It's going to cost you less, right? Volkswagens do not last long these days. They're not that great made. Look at the problems Volkswagen's having. They're having to start to shut down factories, lay off workers because people have finally realized that they don't make such quality vehicles. And they haven't for quite some time. Oh, it's such a tempting price. It's only $88,000 for this stupid little van. I think people have lost their minds. And they write these articles. Oh, it's tempting. As soon as I read that, I said, I got to read this article. What's the tempting price? $88,000. Well, guess what? It isn't going to tempt me, and it probably won't tempt you either. Well, angry Toyota. Tacoma owners are taking Toyota to court now. Class action suit saying that the Tacomas have an undisclosed transmission defect that causes the vehicles to fail to shift into gears and cause internal component damage and catastrophic transmission issues. And they claim, hey, Toyota knew about this, but they sold them anyway. One guy's Tacoma broke in the first 100 miles and the transmission went out on it. So much for their iForce Max design. Toyota didn't used to have things like this. Now they're starting to have them. As I said, Toyota's going to need to get their act back into gear. The Tacomas were seen as the most reliable pickup truck out there. Now, guys got 100 miles of transmission breaks, and people are taking them to court. And it's an obvious problem. I've seen it. The weird thing is, I've even seen it in their standard transmissions, in their manual transmission trucks, which is really weird because they're a completely different design than the automatic ones. But obviously, Toyota's got real quality control problems. They're going to have to start fixing this or they're going to lose their market in the United States. They start getting a bad name and they start building bad vehicles. Guess what? People aren't particularly enamored with Japanese. If they're going to be making things that don't last and break down, they're going to lose a bunch of sales. Look at Volkswagen. They're shutting factories down in Germany. They've been making stuff bad for quite some time. Well, Honda has a new engine for their motorcycles, and it is a forced induction V3 engine. You think, V3? Well, one side's got 2 cylinders, and he only has 1. You might think, sounds bizarre. How's it balanced, whatever? Well, realize one thing, that in 2001, Honda had a V5 racing motorcycle. It was the RC211V, and it was one of the best racing motorcycles ever made. In 2003, it won 15 of the 16 races with that reading. Now, these things are expensive to make, right? Just bizarre. You'd think it's not going to be balanced. The one they're making now has 2 cylinders on one side of the V, 1 on the other, and then the other one had 3 on one and 2 on the other, and it won races, so it puts out phenomenal horsepower. And the new one, the 3-cylinder one, in order to get more torque at lower RPM, they used an electric compressor to control the compression of the intake air. Because, of course, if you have 1 cylinder taking intake air on one side and 2 cylinders taking intake on the other, it's going to be off balance because the one side is going to not have the same air coming in. So they got an electric compressor at lower RPMs to ram more air in to even it out. So it has better torque at low RPMs. At faster speeds, it doesn't affect it as much. You know, the racing one that was a V5 didn't have that, but it was a racing motorcycle. They don't care about low-end torque. Everything that was high-speed RPM racing. It's a different design. Honda says they're going to put this in big motorcycles soon. It'd be kind of interesting. If somebody goes out and buys one, please bring it to me and I will test it out. Scotty Kilmer at gmail.com. When they start selling them, you got one, bring it to me. I would love to test the thing out. See how this radical V3 engine would work. Well, Honda's entering the electric fray, but maybe not what you think. They're making battery electric lawnmowers that are going to be made in the United States, both push ones and ride ones. Now, problem is, I looked up their riding lawnmower called the Honda ZTR electric riding lawnmower, right? You ride on it. It's a 0 turn. It has 6 48-volt lithium-ion battery packs. They claim it'll mow 15 acres of lawn on a single charge because it does have 6 batteries. This battery is going to be expensive. There's 6 of them, right? And if you have a 220-volt outlet, you can charge it in 6 hours. Yeah, well, it's still 6 hours. Now, there's one big problem. The price for a Honda ZTR electric riding lawnmower has not yet been announced, but it'll be available in 2025. So they're not even telling us the price. I can't wait to see what the price is. My John Deere that I bought years ago cost me $2,900. It works great. No problems with it other than a plastic piece here and there breaking, and I just take it off and throw it away and replace it with a metal part. I can't wait to see what the price is. It's probably going to be extravagantly expensive. And yeah, they made it so it has a range at least. They claim it can do all those acres. But it's got all those different batteries. Of course, they're going to go bad, and you can buy other batteries. Well, you're going to have to plug that in, and it's going to take 6 hours to recharge it. So you can't, I got to finish the lawn. Well, I got to charge it all up now. Well, I guess I'll plug it in and finish it tomorrow. That's not exactly what lawn people want. They want it looking good now. They don't want to be waiting until the next day. Have you ever seen weird vehicles? Check this out. This may be the weirdest one ever made. It is a 48-cylinder motorcycle. Back in the day, this crazy guy decided he was going to make a motorcycle that has 48 Kawasaki 2-stroke motors hooked together. Kind of like a B-17 bomber. That's what he patented after, spinning around. Now, this was a 48-cylinder motorcycle using those little 2-stroke engines. Check it out. It's insane. It actually ran. He said it would go 120 miles an hour, which isn't all that fast for a motorcycle, but it's amazing the thing even runs. Each engine was a 250cc Kawasaki 2-stroke, so, man, that thing would have had power. Now, technically, it has 49 cylinders, but 48 run it, and one of them is a donkey engine to start it up, like they used to have old motors to get them going, a little motor to start the big motor going. They'd have a little motor, gasoline motor, to start a big diesel motor so it could start it up because you couldn't get starter motor, wasn't strong enough. Now, it recently sold for $120,000 at auction. The guy thought it was going to go for $500,000. It didn't even come close, but it also didn't run anymore either. It had carburetors on it and they were clogged. It wouldn't start up. But you want some crazy thing? There's a crazy thing. It's one of the craziest motorcycles I've ever seen. I would never gotten on that thing. It would have smelled so much. Ding, 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 ding. They're two strokes. They both smoke. That would have been one crazy machine to ride around it. To top it all off, it weighed over 1,300 pounds. Man, that's a heavy motorcycle. I've been on 600 pounds motorcycles. That's heavy enough. But it weighed twice that. That would have been one heavy motorcycle. But somebody bought it for their collection, I guess. People will buy anything. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.